McCarlan's through, he might go for it, still going, trying to barge his way through, goes to the shot, what a goal!
Arriving Rian O'Neill from an almost impossible angle, and that's the rousing score Armagh were looking for.
Conor Turban kicks this one in. Oh, that's absolutely superb.
Armagh have qualified for the Ulster final once again, but it was far from easy here in Clonus.
It wasn't, to be fair, coming into the game. You had a fair idea, particularly with the down line-up in terms of the changes made beforehand of how it was going to play out, and it did. I thought that we were doing as well as could have been expected. We were controlled, we were patient. I thought the referee was maybe a wee bit harsh on us now at times, but comfortable enough. Then hit with a bit of a sucker punch with the goal in the first half, but then reacted really well, went in level at half time and just showed a wee bit of calmness and composure. And then the same thing happened again in the second half. Just played out exactly as the first half did, and I felt at half time, as long as they didn't get another goal, that we'd do enough to keep them at arm's length, just given the quality and experience that we have. But coughed up that other goal, it went to the wire, but just massively impressed with how they've seen it out. Like, you could clearly see that last 3 or 4 minutes that they have a plan in place for if we find ourselves in this position, like we have done unfortunately this past few years, where a game was there to be won and we haven't done it. So yeah, you'd have to say hats off to the players and management and how they executed late on. It was an impressive score, it was a patient and composed score, but one that was badly needed.
Because I think there was a bit of a panic there, extra time, penalties, it just wasn't. But you're right, the call did come from the management once the added time come up, added time, that 4 minutes left, calm the ball, work the score, and to be fair, I think it was Oisín O'Neill, Aidan Nugent and Jason Duffy, the 3 substitutes, got the last 3 scores for Armagh, so a big impact off the bench.
Well, that was massive in terms of the 2 big things was how we seen out the game by getting that score, but the impact off the bench. Granted, it's just 3 scores, but in a game where scores were as low as they were, to have that 2 from play from the 2 Cullyhanna boys, and then Oisín's mark from a super diagonal ball in from Aidan, it just showed the experience and the class that we all know is there. So in terms of heading into an Ulster final, it's brilliant. It's brilliant to be back. Another big opportunity for this team. Would you have loved them going out and played front foot football and got the goals that they did last year? Of course you would, but Down didn't give them that opportunity. It was never going to happen after what we did to them last year. And Conor Laverty, as just mentioned there, like, they literally had accounted for every minute of what was going to happen in that game. And Armagh did what they had to do to see it out. They got the win. Of course, there's plenty that they can build of and improve on, but they're in an Ulster final. They're in a brilliant position where they can sit back tomorrow now and look at the other semi-final and pick holes and whoever comes through. But yeah, in terms of as a county, it's unbelievable to be back in another final. It seemed like the end of the world after the penalties against Derry last year, but they have 2 weeks now to build to it. So yeah, plenty of excitement within the county, and shelter the boys, and they're experienced enough now to know what has to be done.
And Aaron, I suppose entertainment wise, certainly the first half probably wasn't great for the purists, but there was a wee bit of needle in the game, and that was maybe missing from last year as well. When you talk about an Armagh and Down rivalry, like Armagh coming into this game, they were probably expecting that wee bit. Down certainly walked into them, and there was plenty of verbals and everything else went on there.
There was, and I'd say the goals last year took that out of it. Probably rain didn't help, but the goals definitely took it out of it, because it's very hard to get in your face whenever you're shipping slack goals the way they did last year. So they kept it tight. That opportunities never arose today. And you're right, the longer they stayed in the game, the more confidence it gave them, and the more, the chest comes out at that stage, and you try to rub it into your opponent. But again, just even the wee incident before half time, I just thought we showed a level more experience and maturity now than maybe a couple of years ago. That might have been all hands to the pump and all hell break loose, but no, it was nice and settled. There wasn't a whole pile in it. We stayed calm, composed, spent a minute or 2 on the field, and went in and obviously chatted through what had to be done again. And like I said, looked like we were doing it until you're hit with another sucker punch in terms of the second goal. But yeah, it is what it is. They did as much as what they could have done. The only thing I thought maybe just we dropped a wee bit too deep in terms of how we defended. We defended really well on our 45. Potentially could have done it a wee bit further out the field, because it was such hard work to get the turnover inside your 45. It was a long way to the opposite 21 or 14 to get ourselves a simple score. But that was obviously the plan. That was the call. It was a tough day's work, but it was a worthwhile one now at this stage.
And you mentioned tomorrow's semi-final. Who do you want, Donegal or Tyrone? It probably doesn't matter at this stage. Take anybody.
Whoever we can get one over, I don't really care. It'll be an interesting one. I can probably see Tyrone maybe setting up quite similar to what Down did here today. I think they'll have been spooked by what Donegal did last week. And I think McGuinness has this aura that he spooks a lot of people. So there's going to be a lot of thinking has to be done by the Armagh management team in terms of how they're going to set up for an Ulster final. I think you look back at Donegal last weekend and they still only kicked 11 points. Granted, they got the 4 goals, but I couldn't see us being as naive and having the mindset or mentality that Derry had last weekend. And I think the running through and the 2 goals they got today will keep our boys very grounded. Like, bar the Cork game, we haven't conceded a goal all year. So that's something that McGeeney and Geezer will probably be delighted with, because they can be on top of the boys now and say, not good enough. Whether it was just a simple tracked run or not getting a man stopped coming through the middle, we can't afford that against a Donegal team, because they could end up with 3 or 4 goals. And that's a tough day's work trying to claw them back. But perfect scenario, learn your lessons today and be an improved outfit in 2 weeks' time.
And you played in a good few Ulster finals, and obviously big days for the club and all, but you played in them Tyrone games in 2005, played against Donegal rather in 2006. They were Croke Park Ulster finals. I don't think there's any chance of that happening, but Tyrone or Donegal, whoever comes through, like, this is going to be a massive occasion for Armagh and for the other side, whoever it is.
Yeah, Jimmy McGuinness, Donegal, the hype train, once it is going between themselves and Armagh, this place is packed. That's all players want. And if it is Tyrone, it's that old rivalry between Armagh and Tyrone. This place, regardless of who comes through in tomorrow's semi-final, it's going to be packed. And that is the ultimate occasion that you want as a player. That's what whenever you're the young kids who's sitting in the Pat McGrain or the Jerry Arthurs, that's the day you want to be here in Clonus. Your Garda escorts, the streets packed, a stadium full, and that's where you earn your corn. To me, that's ultimately where you always wanted to play, because I just felt that's where you earn the most respect once you pull on a county jersey to go out, represent your county, perform, but win. So it's an unbelievable time for those players. You'd be envious of them in terms of the build-up they have and that day to look forward to, but they're the ones who put the time and effort in, and they've earned their opportunity by getting back to another Ulster final.
And from playing them days, Aaron, you're now calling the action from the sideline here on GA Go. How do you find the punditry when Armagh's playing, especially?
It's not easy, and it wasn't easy in the last 10 minutes. To be honest with you, I was shouting at Aidan, there's 2 minutes left, there's 2 minutes left. You find it very hard not to be biased or to get sucked into the whole thing. So yeah, the last 10 minutes, it wasn't easy. It was the same as the Monaghan game last year. Okay, you have to be neutral while you're on air talking, but ultimately you're an Armagh supporter. There's no point in telling her you can't be a liar. It's difficult. It is difficult because you get caught up in the emotion of it. The heart is racing. Every mistake, you just get absorbed that bit more by it. But you try your best to be as neutral as you possibly can.
Good stuff, Aaron. Thanks for coming on.
Not a problem, Sean.
Through to another Ulster final. I'm sure you're delighted to get through that tough test.
Yeah, no, really delighted now. It was a battle, typical Ulster. Not for the purest type of give out about us for loads of weeks type of game, but that's just one of those games. But to come out the right side of it was good.
And Down, they just bring so much intensity and whatever else they needed to bring to sort of maybe bring Armagh to their level, but that was just such a titanic tussle between the two great rivals.
Yeah, no, listen, the play, they're very good at holding possession, and it's just one of those games, and it can be frustrating. It's frustrating for the crowd, it's frustrating for us, but listen, there's no rules to say you can't do it, and they're very good at it. So that's the way sometimes games go, unless you can get your team out in front and try and bring them at you. So listen, it was good. It was good to win. Some really good composure there in the last 10 minutes. Subs done a great job and some really good football.
And was that the sort of game you were expecting, Kieran? Because obviously probably the goals last year, it didn't really allow you down to play like that, but we was expecting them to maybe sit deep and it was going to be a game of attrition, really.
Yeah, like, and even when you seen the changes before the game, like the holding Kernan McGeeney, like they just wanted to stay in the game and then bring on sort of pace, and we should let them just like that sort of bit of a mess about in the sideline here, let them in for that goal, and it was going to sort of sleep and give them that wee bit of a, I suppose, buffer. Like, but listen, like that's football. Like, there's no animosity with Dan. Dan came here with a game plan, they stuck to it. Like, and fair play to them. But like we got out on top, like after a bit of a stranglehold, and it was good to do it.
On the subs bench made a huge impact, Kieran. The last 3 points all coming from Oisin O'Neill, Aidan Nugent and Jason Duffy, so a huge credit to the subs bench for nearly changing the game.
Yeah, no, like in fairness, those boys have been doing that at training, like, and they've been pushing, the A team hard, like, and just but again, like we probably had a good couple of chances to begin the game. If we had it clipped, we might have been able to sort of like pull them out a wee bit more. But that's just the way the game goes. And on other days we've lost those, we've lost the composure, and today we didn't, which was good.
And obviously Ethan Rafferty back in the squad today, Greg McCabe as well. Just keeps getting stronger, hopefully at the right time.
Yeah, like, hopefully getting to see Conor O'Neill coming back over the next couple of days too. So listen, but it's 2 weeks. Relax tonight if that's possible. Get some sleep and see what the story is after tomorrow, and then prepare for next 2 weeks.
And 2 big weeks for obviously the players and management, but for Armagh fans as well. Looking forward to this. 12 months on from the heartache of last year, everybody's already looking forward to that game in 2 weeks now.
Yeah, no, and hopefully, like, we'll all be a wee bit grounded after today, because you hear the supporters obviously want you to go out and play lovely football, and we want to do that too. But sometimes it just doesn't work out that way, and you're not going to get the goals and like get everything your own way. Like, that's what other teams are there to do, to stop that. But no, we had some great displays. Like, Ryan had a great game for Slade, and Falk as a captain, like, was superb too. Kieran McGeeney. So yeah, no, very happy with it.
Was that Ryan's best performance? Probably it was the first time he got 70 minutes under his belt from Monaghan last year, and come in and hit 3 points from midfield. He was really important today.
Yeah, no, I thought he had a great game, and not just like on the front foot. He was very good in the back foot for us too. Very disciplined. He was pushing on the team too. Like, played a real leader's role today. So, listen, the fella's only 25. We were all learning the craft at that age, so hopefully he'll push on now. Like, he'll get plenty of attention the next day too. He got plenty of attention the last day. Like, everybody's always looking to push him. He's a tough fella, like, and they're trying to push his buttons. But I suppose like most of those players, you're hoping to get some sort of the protection too. Like, and but he's been responding really well this year. Like, and he's putting his head down and working hard, and you can't ask for more than that.
Great stuff, Kieran. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Kernan's through, he might go for it, still going, trying to barge his way through, goes to the shot, what a goal!
Arriving, Ryan O'Neill from an almost impossible angle, and that's the rousing score Armagh were looking for.
Conor Turbin kicks this one in, that's absolutely superb.